Hey guys, I'm Matthew Kalisch with Tactical Hyve. Today we're going to be talking about once you make entry into the door as the one man, what your sectors of fire are, your primary, secondary sectors, the considerations that you're looking for whenever you make entry and during your primary and during your secondary, and kind of the do's and don'ts and the rules that you can do once you get into the room and what you're looking for. So during one-man CQB is never advised to do. So this is not something we want to do with just one guy, right? We're talking about the work up to 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys is what we're primarily focusing on here, but this is going to demonstrate what that one guy will do with his sectors, okay? So once I've come over, I've already pied the door all the way across. I've got my last diminishing return, right? I've stepped up on that edge of relative cover and I'm ready to make entry into the room, okay? I'm going to go ahead and take that step out, that step in, break, and immediately dig my critical corner, right? That's step one once you make entry into the room, is digging that critical corner that nobody else will see. That's priority number 1. All right, so once we make entry into the room and I have dug or pointed into my critical corner, right? I'm still at that depressed muzzle. I'm going to immediately start collapsing my primary sector. Okay, my primary sector starts in my critical corner and collapses all the way across the room until I reach 1 meter, 1 yard, 3 feet, whichever one is easiest for you, or basically the length of a rifle off of the barrel of my 2-man. Okay, because obviously we do not want to point our weapons at our fellow assaulter. Okay, so once I make that entry, hit my critical corner, okay, I have my gun in trail as my eyes are coming across the room. I reach this 1 meter off of my fellow assaulter. That is my primary sector. At that point, my primary sector is complete, okay? Once I reach that 1 meter off, I now want to get into my secondary sector, okay? Secondary sector is going to be back to the far corner of the room, right? With CQB, with the 1-man. In a center-fed room that we have here, the 1-man is going to take 2 corners, okay? 2 corners is my first critical corner and the opposite corner, okay? Because my 2-man is going to stay in his, but we're trying to create an L in the room, okay? So I have to take 2 corners to create that natural L into the room, all right? Once I've cleared that critical corner, I want to have my primary sector done within 2 to 3 steps. We call it 2 to 3 step efficiency, okay? Because I want to hurry up and get into that primary sector done, so that way if I have a follow-on threat like the door I have in the room, I want to immediately dig back to that next threat and follow it. And I'm basically pieing this doorway from far, okay? And as I'm moving, I'm just pieing that door as I'm coming up and getting to my far corner, which is called our point of domination, our POD, okay? So I've hit my first corner. I'm already on my secondary because this is my follow-on threat, and I want to continue on to my point of domination, okay? Once I get to that second corner, I'm going to get my diminishing returns en route and then step up and get ready to go into the next room. This is where we start gaining those principal CQBs we talked about in earlier classes, of that speed, right? Element of surprise is probably up, so now I want to get everything else done faster. So by able to get up here, get my diminishing returns en route, already set back up, now I'm already ready to go into the next room, and my fellow assaulters can either do their priorities of work in the room or stack back up and get ready to move. We're always trying to cut out time into the next room, into the next thing that we have to do so we can gain that speed back and those principles of CQB continue to flow the way they need to, okay? So one thing with the primary and secondary sectors, okay, as the 1-man and the 2-man, you have to collapse your primary sector. If you have a follow-on threat, or is there, stuff inside the room you can't see behind, you are able to blow off or not do your secondary sector, which would be back to that far wall, back to that far corner, because I have to now focus on that, and that is during my secondary. Primary has to be done, but then I can blow off going back to that far wall if I have that secondary threat, which is the open door I have in the corner. All right, guys, this is Matthew Kalisch with Tactical Hyve. I hope you enjoyed the content and you found it useful. Like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you next time.